What's going on, guys? Sorry for the massive delay, but I just got back from the RBET in New York. Wanted to just do a quick recap of what happened for me, my deck, the tournament. I ended up going 6-2. I came 27th. I lost to Blackwing and Vayu. The Blackwing guy opened Dark Armed. Game 1-3, I lost to it. The Vayu guy Dark Armed me again. So, it happens. I came 27th. One of them topped. One of them came like 17th or 18th, and somehow I was like the lowest seeded decks too. So I don't really know how it's possible, but it is what it is. It's cool. I ended up playing a Blackwing hybrid, but not the typical hybrid Blackwing decks that we've seen in the past with just the standard Blackwing lineup and then 3 Greffers. I kind of took it to a different level, which I thought kind of helped fix a lot of the issues. So this is the list I entered with. As you can see, it's kind of standard, except I cut down on a lot of the small Blackwing guys, like these guys, mainly because I wanted to use this as an engine for Whirlwind. I don't actually really want to draw these ever, except for maybe Gale. Gale's fine to draw, but the other ones, I want to search them. And more importantly, they don't really help you get out of the early game, which is what you're trying to accomplish with this deck. Is you're trying to get to the late game stage pretty fast, and those cards just don't help you do it. What I wanted was a deck that wasn't exploited by summon stoppers like regular Blackwing. Sometimes even one bottomless is enough to make you lose the game, and then there's times where they just have double bottomless or like a bottomless and a torrent. And you're just in a position where you literally can't play a card. And similarly to Vayu, I didn't want to play a Vayu deck where you're forced to consistently set monsters like Raikou and Hamster into Monarch decks, into going second. So I think this was something that really solved a lot of the flaws with both the Blackwing deck and the Vayu deck. I still got to play the most absurd trap cards like Icarus and Deck Dev, which is what I really wanted with my deck. I knew I was going to enter the tournament with at least 2 Deck Devs in whatever deck I played. I think about a month ago, I built this deck. This was the Virus Vayu deck that ended up doing really well recently. Spiral won a tournament with it online, and then they got top 4 the same tournament. So this deck has become kind of popular in the last couple weeks. Dueling Book Ladder has been filled with it. But even this, after a while of me playtesting it, I noticed there were some flaws with the deck, and I think those flaws got fixed by building this version. It's a deck that you're not completely relying on your normal summon, like you are Blackwing. It's a deck that isn't forced to consistently set monsters like Vayu. But more importantly, you get to use all the most insane cards of the format. You get to use Dark Armed, you get to use Whirlwind, you get to use Return, you get to use Burial, and you're not forced to use those cards. Like it's never really awkward. They're good cards in this deck, and they're insane cards for a reason. And I think that your deck, if you can, it should be playing those cards. And then as for the side, this is pretty similar to the old Virus Vayu deck I built. I ended up putting a Dyna in because I had a couple open slots. I thought it made sense. Warrior Lady ended up getting put in. This was suggested to me by Pro Storm. I'm not sure if he brought it up in a kind of a joking way, but he said, why not just throw a Rhoda out to consecrate it in the deck? And so post side, you're typically against the decks that can side consecrated, you're typically holding your Rhoda for a longer period of time unless you need it to get started. But I think I used it twice this weekend. Once out consecrated, once out titanial. Both were good. It was never a bad draw. I did side 1 copy of Mask instead of the 3rd Rug. They serve different purposes, really. To the people that say you shouldn't be playing Mask because you're playing Icarus and Deck Dev in this deck, I'll tell you that you're just wrong. If you have Mask up, you'll almost never need to use Icarus or Deck Dev. If you do need to, then you just wait a turn. You play these cards first, You can hold off on flipping the mask. You can hold off on setting the mask. You're never forced to set it right away. And I think people are just so blindsided by seeing it that they want to set it right away that they're not always doing the most optimal lines in terms of setting trap cards and using their trap cards. So I can assure you that the card is still fine. And then I also put in Mind Crush. It's my first actual in-person Edison event, so I wasn't entirely sure what to expect in terms of meta, but I did think that there would be some Dragon Turbo or some like Gold Sark into future fusion decks that I didn't want to get cheesed by. But yeah, so overall I went 6-2. My losses were to Vayu and Blackwing. I ended up playing 3 Blackwing, 2 Vayu, 1 Amaryllis, 1 Lightsworn, and 2 Frog. I think that makes sense. 1 or 2 Frog. I believe I 2'd everyone else outside of my losses. The deck worked out as it should. I actually ended up drawing Greffert twice all tournament, which is like insanely weird and not accurate testing, but it is what it is. I feel like I was playing more of a Blackwing deck this weekend. Just the way I was drawing, it was just like more Blackwing monsters than anything. But you know, the deck worked as I thought it would. The deck is, I believe this deck is a better version of Blackwing. I do think it's a better version of the standard Raikou Vayu deck. I really do. I've already played I played this deck about 5 times on ladder since I posted the deck list on the Discord, so it's becoming more and more popular, and I think that this deck will continue to get more popular as the weeks go, because once you test it and you see how it plays and how it works, I do think it's a good deck. Anyways, I did just want to get this video out, show my deck list for anyone who is interested, because I know I've had some people asking me for the list. So there it is, and if you have any more questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you the next time. Peace.